Hello my fantastic creatures, I'm Phantasms and welcome to my channel. I love turning Sims 4 into a world of science fiction and fantasy. You can find all my creations in the Sims 4 gallery, and if you like this video be sure to give it an encouraging thumbs up, subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about fresh content. In this video I'm going to show you what packs to buy to build epic sci-fi in the Sims 4, so stay tuned to discover what they are. Many Simmers don't own all the packs, so if you have a love of science fiction and a desire to transform your Sims game into the sci-fi utopia of your dreams, I can help you figure out how. But ultimately, it is subjective because there are vast styles in the sci-fi genre. I'll use Star Wars as an example. You have the grungy, post-apocalyptic cyberpunk style represented by spacecrafts like the Millennium Falcon, and places like the Mos Eisley Cantina. In contrast, you have the more minimalist, clean, stark, white, black and shiny chrome style of the Death Star interior. But there's also room for a more tribal and organic style incorporating materials such as wood, stone and dirt, such as the Ewoks living in jungle tree huts or the sand homes in Tatooine. So science fiction is really a broad category that incorporates many styles, and even though sci-fi purists would beat me with a metaphorical stick for saying this, you can even blend the fantasy genre with science fiction to have a supernatural magical elven clan living in a futuristic dystopian world if you wanted to. So in that sense, you could incorporate packs like Realm of Magic into your sci-fi build. I actually made a sci-fi arch in one of my tutorials using objects from the Vampires pack by rotating stone objects with Twisted Mexy's tool mod. As you can see here, these are the arches I came up with, and I used this debug pillar, this debug stone tombstone, and this stone square pedestal, and it turned into a bit more of a tribal style, but it does have that sci-fi feel to it. So technically then, you can use objects from any pack and every pack if you want to, but for this video I'm focusing on the more traditional use of science fiction, as in futuristic technology. So on that note, my number one pick for the best sci-fi pack is Strangerville. Now, this pack has a bad rep in the Sims community, but that's a topic for another video. Instead, let's look at why it is my number one pick. For those of you who follow me on Twitter, you've probably seen me post some of my spacecrafts that I have built, mainly with Strangerville objects. And I have used Twisted Mexy's tool mod to rotate these, but even if you don't want to use the tool mod to rotate objects, even using them in their original position, you can see here, you can do some really cool sci-fi stuff with these objects. And one of the main reasons I love them so much is the color swatches that come with it. I've put it in the evening so the light is not so glaring. Now, this spacecraft I had originally made in the dark gray swatch. I'll show you right here. It was more of this color. But I love that you have the option to have this grungy, used white color, as well as the more pristine, clean color. And also, there's this kind of slate grey blue color. That's a nice option to have as well. Now, I'm not going to spend ages going through every single object, but I am going to place some objects down so you can see the kind of things that come with the Strangerville pack if you're not already familiar. So we have these chemical analyzers that go along with the gameplay, but again, there's these really cool objects with that grungy cyberpunk finish to them. And none of the other packs that I am going to be showing you in this video have this kind of an option with it, which is why Strangerville is my top pick. Same with this plant containment cell. It also comes in different color swatches. So we've got that grungy look, we've got a darker one, and a red that's very like red gray sleek look. We've got these space station looking doors. So I've just placed a few more objects. This is probably one of my favorites because it has such a good detail for spacecrafts. And it also has that grungy finish which goes with everything else. We've got screens like this that also come with a shattered version. And then what I love about the machinery that they created is that the style of them all flow together really well. This machinery all just looks really nice next to each other. But also in debug there's a lot of really cool stuff. Look at the detail in this. You can really use that. It's really cool with that grungy finish to it. And we've got these more military objects like this military van on its side. But look look at the detail underneath. You could definitely use that on the side of a spacecraft or anything else that you're building. Okay, so here's the most sciencey looking things, and of course it's not a huge number of objects. It is a game pack, and at the moment I think Strangerville might be on sale with the rest of the packs that are 50% off at the moment, so it's possible you could get this pack for $10, and in that way it's another reason why I think this is probably one of the best packs for building a science fiction world. And although it only seems like there's only a handful of objects, as you can see here, this spacecraft is mainly made up of those objects, and so you can do some really creative stuff. Now I must admit that even though Realm of Magic is not going to be on my top list of packs to buy, I did use the debug light flares as kind of light emanating from the engines to give it a bit more of a lively feel, and this rug is also from Realm of Magic. It can have a bit of a sci-fi feel to it, but it's only these couple of objects from the pack that really work really well with sci-fi, so that's why it's not going to be on my top list, but it just shows you that really you can make any pack work if you want to. I have here the beginnings of the Millennium Falcon that I started, and the base of this build is made entirely out of Strangerville objects. Now of course I did use Twisted Mexie's tool mod like crazy to give it that perfect circle shape, but for me I just find a lot more use out of the Strangerville objects than any other pack for my sci-fi builds. Now my next choice for one of the best packs for creating sci-fi builds, and that is Get to Work. Now some of you might have put that pack as the #1 pack because it does come with the scientist career and like medical stuff, and I haven't put every object here on the lot, but I have chosen some of the most sci-fi looking objects, and it also comes with the ability to make aliens, which of course does make it one of the top choices for doing any sci-fi build. It also comes with these alien plants, so even though I wouldn't place it on the same tier as the objects that come with Strangerville, in my opinion, for the overall aesthetics of them, they are very useful in any sci-fi build, which is why I place it second. One way in which Get to Work might trump Strangerville is that a lot of these objects are interactive. They do have movement and their own animations, and like you can contact the alien realm through this portal, so in that way this might be a better pack for creating more activities to put inside your sci-fi build. Oh, also it comes with the ability to use mannequins because it comes with a retail feature. You can have up to 10 mannequins on a lot, but you can dress them in the costumes that we get in the game. So this is what you can do with the mannequins. You can turn them into sci-fi statues to put throughout your build to make it feel like it's more populated. Now some of these costumes do come with other packs, but base game does come with the ability to make the Star Wars characters at least, so you can create a sci-fi feel with the mannequins as well, adding them as decoration, which is another reason why Get to Work is one of the best packs for creating a sci-fi build. Alright, third on my list is Get Famous. Now I was tempted to put this one second because it just has some really cool objects in the pack. However, the objects are just so specific that I don't use them as often as I do Get to Work. But in terms of how cool this stuff looks, you've got these post-apocalyptic dystopian type of signs. These brightly colored movie signs are perfect for more of a cyberpunk look to them. And then of course probably the items that are the most sci-fi looking are the items that come for superheroes. And these are really cool, especially because there's not a lot of detail you can put on walls. The only thing is that they are very tall. I think it requires 2 tall height walls to fit this in, and you can shrink them down, but with this one, like this comes with the superhero costumes, but if you shrink it down then it's going to make them super tiny and then they end up just looking like they're little toys instead. But look at all the detail on that. That's perfect for the inside of a spacecraft or the inside of a space station, so these are really cool, and you can actually download a room that Maxis already created right here. It's a superhero movie set, and these come with a pink trim, a blue trim, and a yellow trim. And then there's the special effects machine that have animations of like sparkly things, bubbles, rain, all kinds of different things. So this pack is super cool, and it comes also with this post-apocalyptic rundown, trashed city, which you can also incorporate into sci-fi builds, and even like the back of this green screen with all of the metal rigging on it could look really cool in a build as well. And I actually created these cyberpunk bunk beds, and this is an example of shrinking down the size to make it fit into a tall wall, like one level, one story, and I used noCC art as kind of the backdrop to make it feel like there's this sci-fi city outside the windows. Now, of course, I'm using other packs as well. You can see the things from Strangerville and Get to Work. See, layering objects can do some really cool stuff. Like this is actually the side of the Get to Work shower, but you can use objects in a really unique way as well. So when you combine these packs together, you can come up with some really cool stuff. But as a standalone pack for sci-fi, I don't think it gives enough versatility to make it higher up on the list, but it does come with some really cool stuff that you can use. The fourth on my list of packs to buy to build sci-fi is Discover University. Now, there's not a ton of objects that are kind of sci-fi looking, but the reason I chose this pack is because of the robotics feature. You can create all of these robots. These are the exomech suits that you can create with the robotics station, and they automatically, once you build the suit, they automatically come with a mannequin, and you're not limited on how many you can put on a lot. So I like to use these throughout builds to make it look like it's populated by robots or people and aliens dressed up in special space suits. Also, like these college booths that you can find at Foxbury University, they could be really useful in a sci-fi build, and some of these decorations. And as you can see here, I created this hovercraft. You can already download it on my gallery, and I rotated a bunch of objects. So obviously I'm using objects from other packs as well, but the main base for this hovercraft is actually one of these tiny little quadcopters that I just made a lot bigger. And then as an example, I have a tutorial of how to make these kinds of arches and objects. I'll put a link to those videos in the description below, but I basically, with Twisted Mex's tool mod, I took this statue from Britechester University and I rotated it a bunch of times, and it turned into these really cool sci-fi looking arches. But it's really these robots and these exomech suits that are the selling point for me in terms of incorporating it into a sci-fi build. My fifth and final pick for packs to buy to build your epic sci-fi world is Eco Lifestyle. Now this one's a bit different because it's mainly got the industrial style, and it's mostly these debug objects that give you a bit more of that sci-fi feel, so you can utilize them in sci-fi builds, especially things like this awesome industrial door, and it's got some modern style windows that can be used in a sci-fi build, and just different objects. Especially the metals on this are similar to Strangerville, where it comes with a bit more texture, which I really like, whereas Get to Work has more of a very clean science lab type of finish, although they do have this fabricator that has a very sleek and high-tech look to it. So you can really use these in making spacecrafts and building spaceports. And so if you're going for more of a futuristic dystopian type of style, then this pack is perfect for that. Of course, I did incorporate some other packs as well, but all of these kind of main objects are debug from Eco Lifestyle. And this container style home, although the wall texture is from Strangerville, and I'm currently creating it as like an underground futuristic city. It's not done yet, but there will be a tour video, so keep an eye out for that. And here is another spacecraft that I am currently working on, and I tried to use some of the objects from Eco Lifestyle. So I rotated some of the machinery that comes with the pack, and I took the smog vacuum, made it bigger because it has this really cool shape to it. Although I am using objects from Strangerville and some other packs as well. But as you can see, you can make some really cool sci-fi builds with the objects from these different packs that we've gone through. So what do you guys think? Do you agree with my choices? Do you disagree with the order I put them in? Are there other packs that you prefer for your sci-fi style of building? Let me know in the comments below. I'm always open to suggestions and requests. So if you have any ideas of what you want to see me do on this channel, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Once again, if you like this video, be sure to give it an encouraging thumbs up, subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified about fresh content. Thank you for your wonderful support. Love ya!